Hello everybody, it's Megalithic here, and today we're going to undertake another multi-car review. And on this occasion we'll be looking at some Dewbauchees and some other vehicles, so why don't we get started? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, well, here we go. This is first up, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Dewbauchee JB700, I do believe it's called. Retailing at a price of $350,000, ladies and gentlemen. It's based on the DB5, I do believe. Is it worth purchasing? Well, not really, ladies and gentlemen. Its handling's sort of lackluster. The machine guns don't work, don't you know, and can't be removed. Unless one really cares for the sort of James Bond aesthetic of this particular vehicle, I wouldn't really recommend it. Top speeds, not much. Handlings, not much. Accelerations, not much all around. Not really a car you will want to be driving around a lot, to be quite frank. Okay, now we have the Mascaro or something like that. I'm not entirely certain of its name, you know, something along those lines. This vehicle, again, another Dewbauchee, ladies and gentlemen, another fine vehicle, actually, to be quite frank with you. Really do like this car. Retailing at a price of only not much difference to the JB700. $385,000 for this, ladies and gentlemen. It really is a very fine car. As you can see, handling in the corners quite well. It did go a little bit wider. Top speed's not all that good, to be honest with you, but it's got good handling. You know, acceleration not so good, top speed not so good. Handling's very good, though, ladies and gentlemen. It's quite a cheap car, and yes, I think it is worth the money. Okay, now we've got another Dewbauchee. Of course, we've got the Spectre, ladies and gentlemen. $600,000, give or take, for this. You know, $599, I do believe it is. Is it worth it? Well, it sort of is, ladies and gentlemen. It's not a bad vehicle, really. Not a bad vehicle at all. I am quite taken by the Dewbauchees, you know. It hasn't got fantastic top speed, ladies and gentlemen, but it has got, again, just like pretty much all of the Dewbauchees, ladies and gentlemen, apart from the 700 there, very, very good handling. So as you can see, just no problem to weave between traffic down here, and as you can see, getting around that bottom end without any difficulty. Not the fastest car. Okay, now this is the 770, ladies and gentlemen. Just a little bit up the price range there, $695,000 for this rather fine looking vehicle. I do sort of like the look of it, you know, ladies and gentlemen. Is it worth buying? Probably just about, you know, like the Spectre, you know. It's got very good handling. Top speed is not the best, you know. It's not slow by any means, ladies and gentlemen. Acceleration is not the best, but it's a very nice handling car, ladies and gentlemen. You'll be quite pleased to drive this thing around town, I can assure you. Is it worth the money? It's worth the money, yes. Is it worth buying? Well, that depends, really, you know. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, now we've got the Dewbauchee Wagner, don't you know? One of the finest cars on GTA, in my opinion, retailing for a price of $1,535,000. Is it worth it? You bet your sweet arse it's worth it. Yes, it certainly is, ladies and gentlemen. In my opinion, I should say, it really is one of the finest cars on the game. Okay, it's not got the top speed anymore, and it's not really got particularly good acceleration, but it has got very good top speed when it gets up there, and its handling is absolutely phenomenal. It really is a very, very fine vehicle to drive, and I really would highly recommend it. Okay, well, let's look at the Dewbauchees, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go on to the next floor and take a look what we've got up here. Okay, well, it's the Truffade, isn't it, ladies and gentlemen? This is the Truffade Adder, the first Truffade to be released, I do believe, retailing at a price of $1 million on the nose, ladies and gentlemen. Based on the Bugatti Veyron, a very fine car. Is it worth the money? Well, for $1 million, yes, actually, it probably is, to be quite frank with you. You know, it's quite a nice car. I do quite like it. Okay, here we go. As you can see, it's got good handling. It's got a good top speed and a reasonable acceleration. You know, of course, now the top speed, it's not going to be taking down anything like the Nero or the Wagner or anything along those lines, to be quite frank with you, ladies and gentlemen. It's not a competitive race car in that way, but it is very nice. Now, this is the Nero, ladies and gentlemen. Its big sister, don't you know? Retailing at a price of $1,440,000. Another very fine vehicle by Truffade. You know, is it worth buying? Yes, yeah, if you've got that kind of money, it probably is. You know, it will beat the Adder, and it is a nicer car to drive. Very similar styling, as you can see. Okay, and this can be modified. Benny's, ladies and gentlemen, have the custom customization I don't believe that I've had it put on this vehicle, though, to be quite frank with you. Okay, as you can see, brilliant acceleration, very good top speed, or rather, yeah, good acceleration, brilliant top speed, and very good handling, ladies and gentlemen, and that brings us on to the Truffades trucks. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, what can we say about this particular vehicle? Well, let's start off with its price. It costs nearly $1 million more than its other sister there. This is $2,325,000. Is it worth it? No, it's sorting well not. Okay, let's take a look at it, ladies and gentlemen. Right, truth be told, not a bad vehicle. Very similar to the Nero, very similar to the Nero, not just in style but in driving. Only difference is the Nero beats it round the track, would you believe? So yes, that's $1 million you're throwing down the drain. Is it worth it? No, it's certainly not. Okie dokie, that brings us on to another lemon, ladies and gentlemen. This is the, we move on to the Overflods now, and this is the Overflod Tyrant, don't you know? This is over $2.5 million, $2,515,000 for this particular vehicle, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, and what do we think of it? Raspberries, that's what we think of the Tyrant. On the street, it's not a bad vehicle like all of the other Overflods. It's got a good acceleration, it's got a good top speed, and it's got very good handling, ladies and gentlemen, but it'll be beaten around the track by absolutely everything. Okay, now we've got the Overflod Auto Arch, or something like that. Auto Arch or Auto Arch, something I'm not entirely certain, ladies and gentlemen, to be quite frank with you, but this is retailing at a price of nearly $2 million, $1,955,000, ladies and gentlemen. Is it worth buying? Not really, no, I wouldn't recommend it. Again, it has the same problems. It looks rather small there, doesn't it? The Tyrant's absolutely got huge in size, and the Auto Arch there is very small. The Auto Arch, I'm entirely certain. Either way, ladies and gentlemen, very fast, very responsive, good acceleration, but seems to lose around the track. This is the Entity XX, the Entity XF, I believe this is, or the XR. I can't be entirely certain, to be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen. Sort of sorted that out, really. I do believe this is the Entity XXR. It's retailing at $2,305,000, ladies and gentlemen. Is it worth buying? Not really. Same problem as the other Overflods, you know. It's very fast, very responsive, good acceleration, gets beaten by everything around the track. Okie dokie, can't understand how that happens, but it always seems to, no matter who's driving. Okay, and now we have the other entity, ladies and gentlemen. Both these cars are Overflod entities. You know, the other one I do believe was the XXR. This will be the XF, and it's retailing at a price of I believe it's under $1 million, $795,000 for this particular vehicle, ladies and gentlemen. Is it worth buying? No, not really. Okay, it's much like the other Overflods, ladies and gentlemen. Only the handling, their steering's a little heavier, and they're not so sort of composed around the corners. You can see, not so fast and not so good acceleration. You know, if you like the Overflod, certainly go ahead and buy it. Why not? But if you're looking for something to get around the town in, I really wouldn't advise it, you know. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, now we're going on up to the Pegassis, and this, I believe, is the Torrio, or the Torrio, or something like that. It's coming in at just under $1 million, ladies and gentlemen, $998,000 based on the count arch, one would assume. I painted in that green because I am a real criminal. Is it worth buying? Well, only if you like classic cars, ladies and gentlemen. Let's take a look, shall we? Okie dokie, doesn't handle that top corner too badly, let's be honest, but down here we start to see the faults. Yes, it came completely off there. Top speed, not all that good. I mean, it's not too bad when it gets there, but it takes an ice age, don't you know, ladies and gentlemen? So let's move on. This is the Pegassi Tempesta, ladies and gentlemen. $1,329,000 for this particular vehicle. Is it worth buying? Well, it's very expensive, ladies and gentlemen. It only beats the Zentorno by, and that's bollock, don't you know? So it's hard to say if it's worth the money, but it certainly is a very fine car. If you've got a lot of money, certainly go and purchase it. If you're on a budget, I'd recommend the Zentorno, don't you know, which will be coming up next. But it is a very nice car, ladies and gentlemen, and it does actually beat the Zentorno around the track, don't you know? Okie dokie, and there we go. So yes, very good acceleration, very good top speed, very good handling. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is what Mr. Raccoon refers to as Big Daddy Z. This is the Zentorno, ladies and gentlemen. $725,000 for this particular vehicle. Is it worth it? Yes, it bloody well is. I can absolutely assure you, ladies and gentlemen, this is one of the finest motor vehicles on the game for the money, should I certainly point that out, for the money. It does lose to other things around the track, ladies and gentlemen, but it's got absolutely phenomenal acceleration. There's very little out there that can match it for acceleration. It's got absolutely reasonable top-end speed, very good top-end speed, and its handling is sublime, ladies and gentlemen. For $725,000, you can't go wrong. And like this vehicle here, which is the Pegassi Reaper, ladies and gentlemen, $1,595,000 for this, ladies and gentlemen. Is it worth it? No, not really. It's not as good as the Tempesta or the Zentorno, in my opinion. Okay, now my driving is, I don't give it the best run, to be quite frank with you. Hit a lot of posts, don't I? You know? But no, like I say, we put this around the track, and it does seem to sort of come in behind the Zentorno and whatnot, and I wouldn't really recommend it unless you're taken by the styling. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, now we move on to the Osiris, don't you know? This is Pegassi Osiris, going up the price range even more, now nearly $2 million for this, $1,950,000. Is it worth it? Well, it's difficult to say whether it's worth it for that kind of money, but it certainly is a very good car. I do quite like it. I suppose, push come to shove, I'd say yes it is, you know, if you've got that kind of cash. Okay, let's see it in action. Very nimble handling, ladies and gentlemen. Very good acceleration, very good top speed. All round a pleasure to drive this vehicle, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, it's very steep price tag, but it really is quite worth it, I would say. And speaking of steep price tags, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. This is the top end, don't you know? This is the Pegassi Tesseract, $2,825,000 for this vehicle. Is it worth it? God, no, ladies and gentlemen, not really. It is very, very fast, but it handles like a pig. Okay, let's see it in action, shall we then? Okay, going up around here. Now I managed to hold that corner. Like I say, this is an electric car, ladies and gentlemen, so it has very, very little driving sound to it, rather deceptive. It gets extremely fast, but its handling is atrocious. Well, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. I do hope you've enjoyed this video, and of course, as always, thank you for watching.